So now we're moving on to first level. The first level, the expectations get higher. We're now expecting the horse to start developing some pushing power so that the horse can do a lengthening. That's the precursor to the horse learning to carry. Now he says, I'm afraid of everything. The horse has to have a consistent contact with the bit. How's it work? The horse has to have a consistent contact with the bit. And we're expecting the throughness to improve a bit from training level. Okay, so first level 1, this is one of the tests where the changes that we made were based upon input from riders, because we had it where in all the tests we had it where you came off the diagonal, sometimes in the corner, sometimes at RRS. The rider said, I can't remember my test, I'm going off course too much, et cetera, which they had a legitimate concern. Because it was some tests you came off the corner for one and you came off the second letter for the other one. So we did, most of the tests you now come off the rail at the corner, not all of them, okay? But most of them you come off at the corner, and every test, they're mirrored one to the other, so that you're not trying to remember which one's which. So we listen, amazingly enough. Okay, so that's basically the real only change in this test, along with now the medium walk, and this test also is a coefficient of 2.
All right, so doing first level test 1, we have Don White O'Connor from San Diego on a 4-year-old. His name is Jack Star.
Horse is quite straight. Falls left into the halt, but it is immobile, and it's also a little bit wide behind. So 6. Now she's going to do 2 half circles. So she rides a half circle. It should be 5 meters when she crosses the quarter line. She hit X perfectly, and then comes back on a straight diagonal to H. Horse is a little braced in the neck, but it was very balanced, very correct line of travel, 7.5. I'm very proud of the horse going by that corner after her warm-up. A little short in the neck. The haunches could have a little bit more control, and she overshot X just a little bit, and I would do exactly what she just did if I were her, okay? She didn't make it to M because of the lack of confidence, and I would give that a 5. Come back, stretchy circle. Stretchy circle at C. I'm guessing it'll be a little conservative, at least the second half, if she comes around. The horse is trying to stretch, but it's a little, because of the confidence issues, it's a little unsteady in the stretch. What a good boy. Very good. Super. So I would be a 6.5. It improved as she went. Now lengthening to P. The horse covers big ground and has lots of reach. Just slightly hurried, 7.5. Walk at A. Transition was kind of slow to develop, but as a rider, I would be thinking probably the same thing. And go to V before you do the diagonal. We're going to have a lot of this going off course at the beginning of the year this year. Don't feel bad if you go off course. It happens in the beginning. So because of the transition being kind of slow to develop, I would give a 6.5. The free walk, the horse is trying to stretch, but it lacks confidence. Then it gets a little shy. There at R. I would give that a 5. And then I would say here, good recovery. It was a little tight in the neck, but the transitions were quite impressive to me considering how she went into that. 7. The lengthening, the course covered ground, but then at the end it got a little bit fussy, so 6.5. A little bit short in the neck and bobbing the head. Again, that's a strength issue that the horses with big canters tend to do. 7. These young horses with really good gaits sometimes can't really balance within the gait well enough to not use their head and neck. That was fairly straight. 7. She cut the corner, but I would have too. 6.5. Because she had to cut the corner, the horse was crooked, so I have to give that a 6. But the horse did cover ground, but it was too crooked. A little bit short in the neck, but uphill, 7.5. An 8 for the trot transition. That's quite nice, especially for first level test 1. You usually don't see that much, but I have to judge all the way till the horse gets to E before I get to give a score. But he says, now I'm brave. I'm going to be brave. So I would give that an 8. He's a little bit, needs more confidence into the connection. That's all, everything I'm seeing today with him is confidence issues. This is a better halt than the first one. It's straight, it's not square, but it's straight and immobile, so it's 7. Okay, my first question for the group is, do you want to give her an 8 for effectiveness as a rider? I do, but can I? No. Okay? Because she wasn't able to achieve everything that the test required. She did a fantastic job of dealing with it, and by the end of the test, the horse was breathing. So that's super good riding, but unfortunately, because of the problems, I don't get to give her credit for that. I will give her credit for that in my comments. I will give her huge credit for that, because that's what I want a rider to do when a horse, instead of getting mad at the horse and kicking it, shoving it into the corner and all that kind of stuff that you see. Okay, but I can still give her a 7 for effectiveness, because things got better. By the end, it got not bad, huh? Has he ever been in a covered arena like this, other than at home? Yeah. Huh? Yeah, so this is a big deal probably for this horse to be in this environment. So the test itself, as I said, didn't really change, other than we did change the first diagonal where she went from H to P. It used to be from S to F, which people had more trouble remembering. And we felt the corner was a little bit better place for a young horse to get ready to do a lengthening too, to be honest. From a training standpoint, we think it makes more sense to come out of the corner. So those are really the only changes in the test in terms of where you're going. For those of you that have ridden this test and you're going to ride it again, make sure you memorize it because it's just different enough to make you get lost, which happened to her, okay? We saw that. And then again, the medium walks now are a coefficient of 2, so they're double whammy if you don't ride them well. Okay, any questions on this? All the things she did to navigate through the tension and the shying and him going, oh my God, I can't do that, I think it was a very effective example to show that by the end of the test, now if she were to ride another test with this horse, I would expect it to be much better. And now the horse ends on a good note, which is, it's just one show. It doesn't matter if he gets a blue ribbon at this show. I don't have any more cookies, I'm sorry. You were really good though. You were really good, huh? You were. Super, please don't clap while she's in here because I think that might ending on a good note with this horse. Anybody have any questions about this test? Are you happy that we changed the diagonals for you? I hope. Okay. Yep.
It's just about the stretchy circle.
Uh-huh.
I know the nose you said was past the point of the shoulder.
At the point of the shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, at the
Have you read the rule book? It's in there.
Kristi.
Is the nose, is it preferable to have the nose in front of the vertical?
Yes, you don't want it behind the vertical. You'd like it at or slightly in front. Not like this, but reaching out, yes. That horse was behind I can still give a 7 to a horse that's behind the vertical, but I won't go above a 7 when they're behind the vertical. Yep. If it stays balanced. Her question was if it stretches lower, is that okay? I've seen a couple horses do stretch circles where they did go, back down to about their knees and kept this huge, amazing trot, stayed balanced, didn't go clunking onto their shoulders, and I've given a 10. Once. But, because you're like, wow, okay. If they stretch way down and then they start losing their balance and get more on their forehand and maybe they start forging, something like that, then not so good. They're better off not to go that far down. Does that make sense? Any other questions on that test? It's basically the same as it used to be. Just slight differences and the reason the lengthenings are not the entire diagonal is we changed that the last round. Oh, good thing Dawn got off. Now there's a horse out there being driven. Okay. With a red ribbon on its tail to boot. Anyway, the reason that we changed the diagonals so that they're not the full diagonal anymore, we changed that the last round because there's very, very few first level horses that can make it all the way from HXF and keep their balance. And so that's why we shifted it to 2/3 of the diagonal. And I think the scores have improved immensely and the training has improved because nobody's panicking to get all the way across the diagonal anymore. Okay? Do you want to ride the shallow loop for us so we can first ride it correctly? Hi there. First ride it correctly. And then I want you to ride the triangle that we normally see. You know what I mean? Ride straight to X and then, okay. Actually, why don't you do that one first? And then we'll finish on the good one for your horse's sake. Yeah, just come around there and do it on this side. Can you guys see if I'm back here? Okay. Dawn, she's going to do the training level shallow loop on this side of the ring. So first she's going to do it wrong, and she's going to ride it like a triangle. This is what we see 90% of the time. She rides straight to X, and then she and rides straight back to the rail. That is not a shallow loop. There is no curvature to that movement. Everybody see that? But 90% of the time, that's what gets ridden. Now we'll let her come down the long side. Maybe show a little lengthening. Said, I'm afraid of that box down there. And now do it correctly. I need my banana chips, Dawn. Good. So see, she didn't come off the rail right at the letter. She made a curve off the rail. See the difference? Which one is the horse more in balance? The second one, okay? This movement might come back, but if it does, my guess is it'll be at first level. Thank you. I do think from a training standpoint that it's going to be more effective to have the 3-loop serpentine because people understand it better and trainers understand it better. So I think it'll actually be more effective for people starting to teach the horse the bend. Thank you very much.